Awesome. We are so excited to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. We really are excited to be here today for another installment of Ask Epic. And this series really is meant to help all of our current families, as well as any new families, maybe navigate our school choices, as well as the opportunities that are available to them. And we have a lot of opportunities that a lot of times our families are not aware of. So I'm super glad to be here with Ashley and with Kaiden as well to extol the wonderful opportunities we have. Um, so my name is Sarah Nunley. I'm one of the hosts of Ask Epic, and I am from the Epic development team.
Hey there, and I'm Ashley Brown, and I'm also from the Epic Development team. So we're excited to get started today. I think we have some really cool stuff to share. And just if you have questions, those of you that are joining us, as you think of questions or have comments, we would love to hear from you. Please put those in the chat, and one of us will answer them or share your comment. We love hearing with you guys and talking to the experts and getting those questions answered. So if you have any questions that maybe aren't relevant to today's topic or might need a little more one-on-one help, I'm going to share Sarah and I's team contact information, so our phone number and our email address, and we would love for you to reach out to one of us, and we will make sure to get you taken care of. So I'm going to put that in the chat right now.
Thank you, Ashley. Today, we are super thrilled to have Kaiden Hudson join us to share more about the esports program. So, I am actually very fascinated by esports, and it has been such an up and coming, popular program to get involved in. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know 100% what esports is. I don't know how it works or how it operates. What I do know is that at every event we go to, Kaiden is the most popular guy in the room. His table has the most people around it. So I know that there is a lot of fun involved in esports. So I do know that it's a rapidly growing program across the country. And I don't know that Epic is making a really strong entrance with our team that we have. So Kaiden, thank you for being here today. And can you tell us more about your program? What is esports?
Yeah, absolutely. And so esports, just to kind of put it in simple terms for everybody, is that it is competitive video gaming. Just like that you can go to the park, you can go to a YMCA and play a game of basketball. It's going to be a lot different than having an organized set of play through like a league, through even something like the NBA, to a local rec league for even high schoolers. And so there's just the small difference of it's a very highly structured, highly organized set of rules that differentiate it from competitive gaming to casual gaming. And with my program, we obviously have that plus some other things to offer to students.
Awesome. So it is a team sport, correct? Or is it more of an individualized?
So it is a team sport first and foremost. There are titles that are based on individual success. A really good example is Smash Brothers. That's 1v1, but I'm allowed to have up to 6 students that can represent Epic, and they collectively gain points for the program through their wins. And so even though it is a 1v1 in competition, in a grand scale of things, it's still a team sport.
Okay, awesome. See, these are the things that I didn't know, and I find this so fascinating. Someone that is not a gamer, and if I know we have parents and caregivers that are watching this today, and I know that a lot of us have a lot of questions when it comes to gaming. Most of our kids do play games, and I will be the first parent to admit that my the extent of my knowledge is listening to my son play very loudly in his room. So this is great to find out that there's games that our students can get involved in with Epic, that are maybe I would say a little bit more beneficial. I'm sure a lot of the games are, but I'm sure that there's a lot of things involved in this. So what grades are eligible to participate?
So depending on the different offer that the student wants to participate in, would depend on the grade level, but just as a grand scheme of things, my department specifically is able to serve grades 3 through 12. To kind of go into the different options that you have. 3 through 12 is going to capture everybody because that is the Epic Games Club. So it's going to be a more casual experience. It's a student organization here at Epic, and they're going to be able to come in and once a month play either with or against Epic students in a variety of games. Right now, one of the games that we offer year round is Minecraft. And then once a month, we also have some competitive experiences for Epic students to play an intramural league, whether that's going to be with Rocket League, Fortnite, something like that.
That's awesome. We actually had a question that just got put in the chat that said, is Minecraft part of the esport category? And you just touched on that it is indeed part of it. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to kind of further go along, as the older you get, the more options do become available for you. So again, starting in the third grade, you will always have Minecraft until the time you graduate as a
Okay.
senior. And then in middle school, you do start getting the option to try out for our varsity team. We do take 6th through 12th grade for those teams. I will say high schoolers do get first preference because those fill up extremely quickly, as well as we do have a tryout process. And so they do have to also be able to compete at the high school level. But it is technically open from 6th through 12th. And then finally, in high school solely, we also have a curriculum and an elective class that the students can take. Right now in the fall, we have something that is called Intro to Esports, which kind of gives you an idea of the entire industry, what to expect. Maybe you're a marketing person, maybe you're a graphic designer, and like how would you try to get a job, and specifically in the gaming industry with those set of talents. That's what that class covers. And then in the spring, we plan on launching 2 more elective classes that will build on top of that. So if you're able to take intro to esports in the fall. In the spring, you'd have the option to take 2 different classes, which is interactive media and shoutcasting and esports business. And so both of those kind of take the different routes of creativity or business, depending on what the student may be interested in. And then finally, also as a high schooler, you also have the opportunity to intern as a varsity intern. And what that looks like is that you're a non-player, but you're still on the team. And so you help us set up for tournaments, you help us track stats for all the players, you help us do shoutcasting, set up matches, production-wise. And to kind of give it a perspective, during the state finals last year in the spring, my entire internship team was invited to run the state broadcast. And so 2 of our students
Wow.
actually shoutcasted official state matches that was watched by over 300 people. And so that's just to kind of put in perspective that even if you're not a player, there's still a place for you in our program.
Oh,
This
wow.
is amazing.
Yeah, that's so cool to hear. I think, and I think we might dive into some of those extra opportunities here in just a little bit, but you guys do a lot more than just playing a game once a week, right? Like there's so much more to it. So, like Sarah said, you were right. You hit the nail on the head. This is a popular topic. I have 2 more questions for you, Kaiden.
Mhm.
Oh, just kidding, 3. Somebody wants to know for Minecraft, is it console Minecraft or Java?
Both. We have the option for both for our games clubs.
Perfect. Okay. I don't have a clue what that means,
Right.
but I am happy that we could answer it. That's why we have you here, Kaiden. And then, okay, someone else, Eli wants to know, is Warzone an esports thing?
It is not. It is not a sanctioned esports title at the high school level or the collegiate level.
Good to know. Okay, thank you. And then another question. What is the youngest they can be for esports? I think you've answered that, but if you don't mind.
Third grade is when you can start your esports journey here at Epic, and that'll be through our Epic Games Club.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So we've kind of talked about who's eligible to participate, and you've given us like a really great overview of what all you guys can do. Can you talk to us about how those meetings happen? Is everything happening virtually? Is there an in-person component? How does that work?
So for again, it's going to depend on the offer that the student chooses, and so we'll kind of start with the least amount of commitment and work our way up to the most. So the least amount of commitment is going to be the curriculum because it's just a class. So it's up to you to figure out what time slot works best to complete that class as an elective. While it is just like every other elective class, again, if you choose to do esports all on Friday, then esports classes for you on Friday, or if you choose to knock out a little bit at a time. Kind of going up from that is going to be our games club. And that's going to be something that is not necessarily a requirement for participation, but if you sign up and you can't make it one month, but then you can make it the next month, that's fine. But it's just always being able to be on top of making sure you register in time, making sure that your gamer tag is correct, so that way you're not missing out on any matches, but when the time starts. And so that takes a little bit more commitment just to make sure you're ready. And then finally, we have our varsity and our internship part of things. So for our varsity team, again, it is a sport, and so we have practice Monday through Friday. The only time you miss practice is if there's no school, and that even's going to be once a month on Saturdays. We actually travel collectively as a group to make sure that we're able to compete. Some games are able to be played online from home, but those are few and far and in between because for competitive integrity, for rules that are sanctioned by the state, you do have to play in person at a location in front of a coach. And so that's why there's a little bit more time commitment for that. And then our interns, same thing. If they're going to be with our varsity team, they're going to have to travel where they go. I do make exceptions for them depending on where they live. So if they're super far away and we have a tournament in Tulsa and they can't quite make it, that's fine. They will just have to be able to support us remotely. And they usually have to be live and in person or live and in front of like a Zoom call or something. So I can easily get a hold of them and say, hey, we need this information. We need to make sure these people are contacted, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So the interns kind of follow what happens with your varsity team for the most part. I think it's really neat. Something that when I met with you last year, Kaden, we talked about the team atmosphere. That is so inspiring, I think. And so the fact that you guys have all these opportunities to work together as a team in person, I feel like, and maybe you can tell me if you feel like this, but to me, it seems like that really builds that team spirit. And that video that they had last year, you could really see that in the video of the kids. You could just tell, like, they were buddies, they were teammates cheering each
Mhm.
other on. I just think that's really cool. Do you feel like that in-person aspect really helps build your team?
Yeah, it does. And the thing is I always try to say that there's nothing better than LAN energy when it comes to video games. And LAN is just the term that you use when you play a video game in person because it's completely offline. The record will not be shown on your match history. It is truly there for the sake of the sport. And so you really get to see those bragging rights in person and you get to see that energy in person with your teammate because it's pretty easy to be mad at somebody you can't see. But when you practice with them every day, they're sitting right next to you and you're both in the same boat, either winning or losing, that camaraderie gets built a lot better. And just to kind of, again, put things in perspective for everybody on the call, is I brought two of them with me today, but these are two of our different state championship rings that we are proud owners of. We actually have 7 state titles to Epic's name across 5 different titles. Um, we are regularly now ranked and was the top esports teams in the country, according to the HSEL, which is the High School Esports League. We were state runner, or sorry, we were national runner-ups in 2 different titles. And then again, last year we walked away with 5 state titles of our own, adding to our collection. And so when it becomes a team sport and these kids get the opportunity to not only wear a jersey, they get to wear a ring that they get to show off, it really sends a message. But more importantly, it brings the kids to know that they are representing Epic. And I think that's really cool that you can live in Guyman, Oklahoma in the Panhandle or as far down as Idabel close to the Texas border, and you are still an Epic student represented by this esports team.
Yeah, absolutely. I forget the jerseys are really cool. If you haven't seen them, very cool jerseys. I think everybody loves to see how those played out.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about that not too long ago. Okay, I have a couple more questions for you. We're putting you to work today, Kaden.
Absolutely.
So let's see. Chelsea's asking if we filled out the form for esports, when will we hear about getting started? Sounds like Chelsea has a seventh grader.
Okay. It's going to depend on when they sent it in. I know that everyone that sent anything in before this Monday should have already gotten an email sometime around Friday afternoon. Understand that with the form, they do the way that it's registered, that it will actually go to your student's email from my department. And so if your students don't check their email, it's probably a good place to start. If it's still not there, always reach out to us with esports at epiccharterschools.org, and that'll come directly to me and my team so we can try to help figure out where the form went, what happened to it, and we can get you set up that way as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Another question. Someone's asking, what would be an example of Minecraft esport competition?
So we have 2 different versions for Minecraft. We have a collective cooperative opportunity, which is called Minecraft Adventures. You get in small teams. There's a set of objectives. You complete the objectives, and then at the very end of the year, we have a huge raid that we do against a boss inside the game. And then we also do have PvP, player versus player, to where we do mini games. So we will do capture the flag, we'll do bed wars, we'll do trick shot, we'll do all kinds of things inside the game that is a community mini game within Minecraft.
Awesome. Okay. And then looks like the final question I have for right now, where is it that you travel around to meet, like when you do your in-person competitions? Where all do you typically go?
We travel all across the state. And so 99% of our matches will happen in Oklahoma City or Tulsa. When we officially compete for matches at the state side, we will be at one of those 2 locations and we're allowed to compete at the same time. So if you live in Oklahoma City or you live in Tulsa and let's just say you're on the Valorant team, well, if half your team's in Oklahoma City, half's in Tulsa, you just report to a location that Epic owns and operates. So, for example, in OKC, you'd be at 50 Pin in our arena there. Or if you're in Tulsa, you'd go to the Tulsa Logan building for our arena in there, and you would just report in, check in. I would register you guys that you guys are there. You guys are in person in front of me or in front of my assistant coach in Oklahoma City, and you guys would log in and play with your team that way. We do get invited to LAN invitationals a lot, and so we have traveled as far south as Weatherford, Oklahoma. We have traveled as far north as Ponca City, and there are times that we do get invited to competitions outside of the state. Those are a lot trickier because of the time commitment that it takes to actually travel that far. And so while we have never taken up the opportunity on some of those invites, that is something that we're hoping to do in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds awesome. And for how successful your program is, it sounds like that's probably going to be where you're headed is going to do things out of the state. That's so cool. And what a cool opportunity for
Mhm,
kids. I mean, to get a chance to travel around. I mean, that's so fun.
mhm.
Okay, I think you've touched on this a little bit, but just in case anybody missed it, can you give us a little overview of time commitments
Yeah.
for, okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
so for time commitments, again, with like Games Club and the curriculum, obviously you just got to get it done. And so everyone knows how curriculum works here at Epic. You take it, you fill out you do the class, you take the test. It's up to you to figure out that schedule. So I'm going to say that's like the least amount of commitment because it's up to you. Games Club, it's once a month. And when you do decide to play with one of the Games Club or team game nights, that is once a month. But again, no harm, no foul if you don't make it. It's not for a grade or anything. It's just a student organization and a student club. And so that's kind of the slow commitment there is that it's at least once a month. And then it's kind of scales up drastically from there, where we go to our varsity team and our interns that meet every day. The only time you don't meet is if it's a weekend or if there's no school. And then we have our competitions once a month on Saturday that they would compete.
Wow, that's amazing. I've always thought I should get into gaming. I think I'm probably past that, but now it kind of makes me want to join. We do have a couple more questions I want to throw out there. Eli is asking, how do I register for esports?
So you would register for esports by going or having your teacher go inside of Power School and filling out the interest form. It's going to be it's called the esports interest form, I believe. And so make sure you fill that out, make sure all that is good and squared away. And we would be able to sign you up that way. And that is only going to be for our curriculum if you're in high school or Epic Games Club. And then from there, we reach out to you, we finish the rest of the process. This time of year, realistically, the only thing we're going to be able to really get you into is going to be the Epic Games Club, just for full transparency. We do have a little bit of room in the class, but I will say because we're a little bit far into the class structure already, you may have some catching up to do. So you can still enter, just know that there will be some catch-up work to do. For the varsity team, however, right now we send out huge announcements. If you're in the Games Club, you get notified first because you guys are our first priority since you're our club. And then Greater Epic gets an email about tryouts for our varsity team. And we hold tryouts for the entire school. We have our requirements already listed as like, if you can meet these requirements, if you make the team, then you are free to try out. And some titles are more rigorous than others. Some titles will have that in-person requirement. Some titles will not. It'll just depend on what the state sanctions for us on any given year. But we put all that information in the email.
Oh, wow. So it's really they need to contact their teacher if they're interested. So parents cannot do that for them. It needs to be their teacher.
Yeah, it's going to have to be through their teacher.
Okay.
And their teacher will reach out to me and we'll get some questions answered to see what we can do with them.
Okay, that's perfect. I have another question. Can a student do Rocket League and Minecraft in the same year?
They can. I will say that with our Epic Games Club, you can play as many or as little titles as you have the time for. And so, again, if it's something you want to try to cram in as many different games as you want on that weekend, by all means. For our varsity team, I will say it's the same thing if you make the team first and foremost, and you have to try out for each team you want to make. So just because you make it for Rocket League does not mean that I'm going to let you play for the Fortnite team because you have to try out for the Fortnite team. So just kind of be aware of that.
So they can be on multiple teams. Is that
Yep.
okay? That's the way that works. So another question would be, how are students given the chance to participate and play? And you've kind of covered that, I think, in what groups they can be in, but can you kind of go back over again how they're, the opportunities that they have to participate and play?
Yeah, and so able to participate and play. Obviously, depending on their offer, if they want to go through the Games Club, they register. There's going to be on the website that we use, it just gives the times and the deadlines. So if you want to register for Minecraft or for Fortnite that day, you just register. You'll get put into a pool, and then you'll get contacted on when to show up, when our match times are, so on and so forth for the Games Club. For our varsity team, that is something that I specifically handle. And again, we are at the behest of the schedule that the state gives us. And so when I say, hey, Epic is wanting to put forward a Valorant team, that team will have a schedule just like any traditional sport, like a football team or basketball team. And we get those dates, we get those locations already squared away. And by the time you're part of the team, you have your entire schedule for the entire semester. And so while that probably won't be for anybody on this call because the fall is full for the varsity team, in the spring, you'll probably know all of your dates before second semester even starts.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. What is required for a student to participate?
So again, making sure you meet those grade requirements. So if you're a third grader, make sure you're going to be on Games Club only. If you're in high school, you'll be able to do varsity teams. So that's first. And number two, regardless of the offer, this even kind of comes into with the classroom. You have to have passing grades. So we are, again, since the sport, it is
Okay.
regulated like the OSSA. And so if you're on the varsity team, and even if you're in the games club, you will have to have a D or higher at any point in time. And we do kind of adjust this for Epic. So the kind of general rule of thumb, as long as you are passing, you're not failing any class, and you're on pace, you're free to compete and play as you see fit. If you've fallen behind pace, you will get marked as ineligible, and you will not be able to play until you're back on pace. Or if you're on pace but failing, then again, you're still ineligible and you have to wait till you're passing again to be able to play. With the classroom, of course, if you do not do any work in 15 days with the class, you are automatically unenrolled from that class. And so just be aware of that, because it is technically an AP course. And so it does fall under the advanced placement category with specialty courses. And so there are a little bit more requirements to make sure that you are actively doing work, even if it's a minimal amount until the very end where you just do it all at once, however you want to schedule it. But there is a requirement to make sure that there is something done every 15 days.
Wow.
That's interesting. That's cool that that's an AP class. I did not realize that. Okay, I was just thinking of another question. Oh, what about if they want to play, whether it's Minecraft or whatever, do they need to have those games themselves already, or is that something that we can provide?
So it will be something they will have to have a copy of those games already, as well as a console to play it on. Epic does not provide consoles. We do not provide copies of the games. And so just kind of be aware of that. I will say that generally the titles that we do offer, though, we try to make sure it is free to play games. So there is no cost to actually own the games and download them directly to your console. There are a few exceptions to that, but those are very, very few and far in between.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if Epic could send everybody an Xbox or a computer or something like that to play games on? We can all hope and dream, right? Okay, so my next question, can students, and I think you've touched on this maybe, but can you clarify how do students, if they can earn credit for any of these programs, and how do they do that?
Yep. So the two that they will earn credits for is going to be for our high schoolers, and it's going to be for the varsity team, for the internship, or for the classroom elective. So those are the three ways that you can earn credit for underneath my department.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, but unfortunately not for the third graders, not for the students in the Epic Games Club. This is more so just when you say just for fun, just to kind of dip your toes in and get used to it.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. Okay, let's see here. So we've kind of touched on this, I think. What kind of games do the students engage in? I know we've said Minecraft. You said a bunch of things. And I'm sure people that play the video games, they're all like, yep, got it, got it, got it. But do you want to give us kind of just a rundown of like the most important ones, or the ones that you guys talk about the most that you offer?
Yeah, so kind of going from what we offer from a competitive standpoint, the titles that we're going to have in the fall are going to be Rocket League, Halo, Valorant, Splatoon 3, Smash Brothers, and the finals. And again, those are fall titles specifically. And so in the spring, those titles change, and they're going to be Overwatch 2, Fortnite, Apex Legends, League of Legends, and Counter-Strike 2. Now, for our games club, we usually have Minecraft year-round. Minecraft's always going to be an option, as well as Rocket League and Fortnite. Every once in a while, we do a poll with the Games Club students of like, what game would you guys like to see next? And we kind of take the most requested title and we kind of throw that into the mix. So for 1 month, last year we did something called Fall Guys. The next month we did Mario Party. And so it really just kind of depends on the interest when it comes to the Games Club. But we always have 3 games, which is going to be Minecraft, Rocket League, and Fortnite that the kids can always look forward to.
That's awesome. I have a kind of a question off of that. I think most kids seem to start playing games earlier and earlier these days. But with some of these games, is it necessary to be a pro at them or be super experienced? So maybe you have a third grader that's coming in and they haven't really played much, but they're wanting to get involved. Is that kind of a
So
requirement?
it's not a requirement. Obviously with our games club, it's a community first and foremost, and it's more of a casual experience. So you do not need to know every in and out of Minecraft to go in and enjoy it. As a matter of fact, a lot of our students actually are very more than happy to teach you the ropes of specific games, because at the end of the day, they're just there to have fun and they want to be able to play video games with some other Epic students. For the varsity team, on the other hand, that is where it becomes skill is going to be a very big factor, because just like you probably wouldn't go try it for your football team if you've never thrown a football in your life, if you didn't even know the rules. So that's where I do advise that if kids do want to try it for a varsity team, that they do have at least experience playing the game. I don't like to give a minimum amount of hours or anything, because just because you play 100 hours in one game doesn't mean you're going to be as good as a person that does 50, so on and so forth. But experience in the game is going to be pretty important when it comes to the varsity team.
Okay. That's awesome. So you did touch on the fact that the students would need copies of the games to participate. Obviously, they have to play at home, practice. What else is required for them to be able to participate?
Of course, the game system, something to play the game on, and an internet connection. Everything past that is optional, so you don't need a headset, you don't need a microphone
Okay.
for a lot of that, especially for the games club. For the varsity team, same thing, but you will need some way of communicating with the coach. And so, whether
Okay.
that, if you don't have a headset and a microphone, you do have a school Chromebook, you can always make sure that you're on a Zoom call or something with your coach. But again, sometimes those things are already there. So kids usually already have some type of headset, some type of headphone that they can use. And so there's no regulation on what you can and can't use from an audio standpoint.
Okay. Is there a specific piece of equipment that they have to have as far as, let's see, like Xbox or PlayStation? Does it matter one way or the other typically?
It does not matter
Okay.
as long as the game is offered on a specific platform
Okay.
and they are able to play on said platform. I will give a small caveat to that. Again, there are some games that is offered on PC, then there are some
Hmm.
games that are offered on console, but the games do are not cross-playable.
Okay.
Again, that is a very rare case when that happens. But as long as the game is cross-playable and as long as the game can play on a system itself, you are good to play on whatever you see fit.
Okay, that kind of explained my question. I'm sure a lot of people know that already, but I thought maybe we would throw that out there just in case one person has a PlayStation and someone else has an Xbox. We do have a question. Does it cost to join? And then this person said, is it considered a grade? Which you did kind of touch on, but is there a cost to this?
There is no cost to it. No, there's no cost to any of the offers I have just explained. That is because they are all Epic owned, operated, and designed. And
Okay,
so we offer those to our students for free.
awesome. That is super awesome. Let's see here. We've got so
And
many questions. I'm going back and
I
forth
know,
so
I know,
quickly.
trying to keep up. And then that other question, the second part, because I think she joined late. Is it considered a grade, Martha? It depends. It's considered a grade when they're at the high school level, right, Kaiden? But anything below that, it's really just kind of for fun. It's a more of the club aspect.
Yes,
Um,
correct.
so I have a question. So you've talked about the fact that for the Gamers Club, they can join pretty much at any point in the school year, just on a when they have time. They sign up to play that month. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. And then we've talked about that for varsity tryouts, that's happening here soon, correct?
Yes, that's going to happen right after fall break. So
Okay.
soon-ish.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel like it'll be here before we know it because the fact that we're
Yes,
sitting here in September is blowing my mind.
correct.
So yeah, so those will be very soon. And then just to clarify for anybody that's wondering, do you do tryouts at any other time in the school year, or is it just this one time?
So we do tryouts. So these fall tryouts will be for anyone that wants to play a title in the spring. And
Okay.
then at the end of the spring semester, we hold tryouts again for anyone that wants to play the following school year in the fall. Now,
Okay.
I will say a requirement for a tryout, just so everyone is and just so everyone understands, is that you do have to be actively enrolled at the time of tryouts. And so I know that sometimes that early enrollment window sneaks up on all of us. And so, but I will say if a kid does want to try out for a varsity team and a varsity spot, he will have to make sure, or she will have to make sure that they are registered to be going to Epic the following semester that they plan on playing.
Okay, good to know. And
Gotcha.
so, kind of like a lot of our popular programs that we've talked to where space is limited, you have to really kind of be thinking ahead, right? You can't, unfortunately, there's spots are limited and everybody wants in, as we can tell. So, you really have to be planning ahead. Like Kaden said, the tryouts for this fall happened in the spring. So, just something to keep in mind, especially those families that have middle schoolers that are just getting close to being able to be eligible to play or to join a varsity team.
Mhm.
Okay, and so if we've got families who are interested with for more information, we've already shared the email address, right, Sarah? Didn't you
Mhm.
put it in the chat?
It's
But
in the
just one
chat.
more time, the to contact Kaden and his team to get more information if you need it. It's esports at epiccharterschools.org. And if you do want to sign up to play, best bet, just like anything else, is to start with your teacher because usually your teacher can get you going where you need to be.
I dropped it back in there too, just in case somebody
Yes,
needs to
good.
take a look at it.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, absolutely. Caden, is space limited? You kind of mentioned that for, I think for your older kiddos, the ones that are doing the varsity tryouts and et cetera, that is definitely, there are only so many spaces. But what about for your, your third grader, your sixth grader, things like that? Is there going to be a cap? So if someone sends in they want more information, is that capped at grade level, or is it just kind of open to how many spots you have?
It'll be open to how many spots I have.
Okay.
I will say, and this is with full confidence, and I'm going to keep it this way for as long as humanly possible. I do not have a cap on the games club. So if
Okay.
they want to sign up any time of the year, they want to think about it or whatever, they want to sign up and you feel like it's not for them, that is fine. There is no cap on the games club. Right now, we have just over 600 students in the Epic Games Club. And
Oh,
so that's a really fun time to definitely meet other Epic students. Just a very quick, funny story with the Epic Games Club. We had two students that really hit it off. They loved Minecraft, so they played Minecraft together even outside of the Games Club time on their own. Come to find out, they lived down the street from one another, and they had no idea that they were both Epic students. And
that's
so,
awesome.
while that may not happen for everybody, at the same time, it is still nice to know because you still will find people that live in your same city, that live in your same area. And it's just really fun to make sure that you know that there are Epic students out there, even if you don't see them, if you're on the one-on-one model or something like that.
Oh, that's fun. That's super fun. And I had no idea that there were that many students involved, although I shouldn't have been surprised. I should not have been surprised. Um, how about, are there opportunities for these students to use their skills that they learn playing after they graduate?
Yes, there is. And so, from a post-secondary standpoint, especially when we start talking about jobs in college, anything you can think of that a traditional sports is going to give you the benefit of, esports is as well. As of right now, we have graduated 16 seniors through my program as varsity players. 12 of them have received college scholarships to go play at the next level. All of them have gone to play in state except for one, and one of them went to Texas to go play. They are continually on top ranked teams. I actually had three seniors last year all graduate, go to the same college. And when they walked off the stage at Epic and they walked onto the campus at Oklahoma Christian, they walked into a number one ranked Overwatch team in the country because of their success here at Epic. So again, those rings do hold some weight, and people know that across the country. And college recruiters are always looking at our kids specifically because of the talent that comes out of the school. When it comes to jobs and post-secondary, again, my interns, they get real world experience. They are actually getting what a job would look like in this kind of space, in this kind of industry. And I actually have students that have interned for me in the past that still use me as a reference, and I get to speak very highly of them when I get put down as a reference. And so, again, it's part play, of course, as a sport, but it's also part work study program. To where if you feel like you have a knack for technology, graphic design, whatever, you have a real good use case to put together a portfolio and go get that job of your dreams.
That's awesome. It sounds like this is a really great springboard for a lot of different jobs, and the interning sounds really interesting. Do you have many interns every year, or do you have just so many that you can place?
So last year I was only able to get three each
Okay.
semester because that's just what my team was able to handle.
Okay.
This semester I get 12.
Oh,
Next
wow.
semester we'll get 12 more. But again, that's going to be limited space. And so right now 12 is about the max cap that we're able to support each semester. Should we, be able to expand? Should we be able to find more things for more kids to do? Then of course we may open that up. But that's going to be one of those things that they're going to be very few far in between. There's an interview process. The Next Step program has all that set up and outlined already. And so if you do want to be an intern, you'll just follow that same process as if you want to get an internship anywhere else through Epic.
That's awesome. Is it only for seniors, or can juniors intern as well?
Preference is going to go to juniors and seniors,
Okay.
and then we do open it for freshmen and sophomores.
Okay.
But as long as the class is not filled, it'll be open 9 through 12. If the class starts getting a little full or we have a lot of interest of juniors and seniors, we'll go ahead and shut it off early and only let those juniors and seniors have first dibs.
Sure. That's awesome. Um, we were having a conversation on Friday, and you mentioned that you had been contacted by the Hall of Fame. I
Yes.
think, right? Correct. So do you want to talk about that? Because it was so interesting to me, and this just kind of goes to show how well you are doing with this program, that it is kind of everybody's knowing who you are. So can you kind of touch on that a bit?
Yes, and so I was contacted over the summer for our success in the program by the Esports Coaches Hall of Fame. This is the same organization that has inducted the kid that beat Tetris, if anyone followed the news when that happened from the kid in Stillwater. And I was inducted as well as our program. and the Oklahoma Coaches Hall of Fame. And so it was really awesome to see that. It was awesome to get recognized by such a prestigious organization with some awesome schools, some awesome athletes, as well as some just native homegrown students that have already made national news, like the one that beat Tetris.
That is so fun. Seriously, that is so fun. When you told me about that, I got super excited. Like I said, I've always kind of been interested in the gaming, but I don't know that that's something I can get into. But it's so great to follow you guys. It's amazing. It's
It
absolutely
really is.
amazing.
And I think for me, what's so encouraging is seeing something that years ago, like maybe when I was growing up, the video games, that was the thing distracting kids from being successful in school. And now this has been turned into such a positive. And I don't think a lot of families even realize the opportunities there, like the scholarship opportunities that so many of the kids in your program are taking advantage of and winning and or earning, I should say. That's massive. That's going to change someone's life. And so um, I just think it's really important that families recognize how this can impact your entire life. You can use this to get into college. You can use this to go into it. And there's an entire career field for this, right? And so the fact that I think Epic has made it, yes, it's the fun aspect, the games club and playing games and making friends, but then they take it a step further with the internship and the classes and find ways to tie this into their academic success. And like, I think somebody said, like, launch them off into what comes next. And I just think that's for me what is so inspiring is like, yes, it's for fun, but we're also going to make sure that you're set up for what comes next. And I mean, that's just typical Epic, but I love to hear it.
Hmm. Absolutely. Kaiden, are you okay with people sending you messages as well? So if we have parents that they're grabbing this email and maybe they have some more questions before their student wants to get involved, and I understand, are you okay with them sending you messages?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, please email that esports@epicharterschools.org. That is an inbox that not only I have direct access to and are able to monitor, but my team as well. And so we definitely try to make sure that we have timely responses. Sometimes, especially at the beginning of the year, we get a ton of questions and a ton of
Sure.
emails. But we do really do our best to try to get you guys information as quickly and as accurately as possible.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Kaden, so much for joining us and sharing more about your program. I think this has been really successful getting to share more information and answer people's questions. We just have heard so many positive stories about how beneficial this is to students' lives. And we're really excited to see you guys have already accomplished so much, and I know you're not done yet. So thank you again for being here.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I did want to throw out there, we do have a wide variety of clubs and organizations that our students can participate in. This is just one of them. It's probably one of our more popular ones, but we do have so many others, and they can develop a lot of skills and get great socialization while engaging in these extracurricular activities. So not only are they fun and creative, but they do encourage your student to grow. We only covered one today, so hopefully we can come back in the next few months and cover a few more. But we do want to say, thank you to Kaiden so much for joining us today and taking time out to share all of this with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully we'll get some more clubs and programs coming up soon. Those of you that joined us, maybe you joined late. I do want to throw out there that the recording from this webinar will go on the Epic website. Give it a few days, maybe a week or so, but it will be on the website. If you go to the Epic website and click About, there's a drop down and you'll just click Ask Epic. All the recordings are there. They're listed by title, so you can see if there's anything you missed out on. If you have other questions, maybe you're considering enrolling or you're just not sure where to go. My kid wants to join a club and I don't know how to get there. Sarah and I would love to help you with that. So again, you are welcome to email our team at edt@epiccharterschools.org. We would love to help you. Just well, not really a reminder. I guess I'm just telling you guys for the first time. There's no Ask Epic next week. Our team is going to be out doing some training. So we'll come back week after next, which I don't know the date off the top of my head, but we'll be back in a couple weeks and we are excited to get to talk to you some more. So thanks so much, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Kaiden.
Absolutely. Thank you.